Welcome everyone. On behalf of IIM Ranchi, I thank you for joining today's symposium. My name is Dr. Aditya Misra and I am a faculty member at IIM Ranchi and co-chair at Atal Bihari Vajpayee Center for Leadership, Policy and Governance, which is a center of excellence under IIM Ranchi. This center is involved in multidisciplinary research related to leadership, policy and governance. And we at the center make consistent efforts to disseminate the knowledge to the every concerned by organizing workshops, seminars, roundtables, and lecture series. We are also making efforts. In terms of to support and train entrepreneurs and budding managers on leadership and management. Today's online session is a step being taken in the same direction. We are conducting a series of e-symposium on women in startups, challenges and success stories. There will be 2 sessions with 3 speakers in each. As the first in series, today among us we have 3 young women entrepreneurs who fought against all odds to reach the position they are at present. I am privileged to welcome them and introduce them to you. First, please welcome Ms. Disha Singh, founder of Jog, a proudly Indian and 100% vegan khadi silk brand based out of Mumbai. Disha has over 8 years of work experience across fashion, healthcare, energy, and investment banking. She holds an MBA degree from the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Please welcome Ms. Payal Mittal Agarwal next, who is director at Gelinia Tranquilita Private Limited. Her company has served over 10 million teacups in 30 months of its operations. She has won awards like Time of India, Unlimited Rising Star, Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Program in 2019, Walmart Women Entrepreneur in 2018, and PNG Women Entrepreneur in 2018. Welcome, Ms. Payal. Please welcome Ms. Japna Rishi Kaushik, who is co-founder of Hungry Fowl. Hungry Fowl is making nutrition tasty, affordable, and accessible to all by manufacturing and selling healthy and nutritional food products. Hungry Fowl is a bootstrapped venture which later went on raising funds from angels such as State Bank of India under its Stand Up India policy, Government of India, and Pre-Series A funding from GAIL India under its startup initiative Punk. And I take this opportunity to introduce and welcome our Honorable Director, Professor Shailendra Singh. He has been our guiding lamp both at Center and at IIM Ranchi. It is his motivation only which led the Center to work consistently to achieve its objectives. Now, without further ado, I invite our Honorable Director, Professor Shailendra Singh, to say a few words and introduce the Center to the participants. I would also request Professor Hajarika to please take over and coordinate the e-symposium after Director Sir's speech. Thank you. Over to Director Sir.
First, let me Disha ji, Payal ji, and Japna ji for sharing their stories in our platform, that is Atal Bihari Vajpayee Center for Leadership, Policy and Governance. Let me just say that Atal Bihari Vajpayee is the name of an statesman who has created the state of Jharkhand. So being in IIM Ranchi, we thought that it's great tribute to the statesman, and that's how we have started this center. In day-to-day business, we are doing research, consulting, training in the area of leadership, policy and governance, and in the long run we want to develop ourselves as the think tank on the policy both at the state level and the nation level, and also plan to start a postgraduate program in policy and governance in years to come. IIM Ranchi has been spearheading the movement to be relevant for state of Jharkhand. Otherwise, being a central institution, many of the state representatives just question that what is the benefit that we are going to have of your presence in our state. So we feel that these institutions of national importance have been opened in such places so that the regional and local development should also be affected in positive directions. So we have been working for the issues of generating more employment through entrepreneurship, and we are also going to open entrepreneurship centers. We have already started a course on entrepreneurship, which is a core course in our MBA program. We have also collaborated with EDI, Institute of Entrepreneurship, India, Gujarat, Ahmedabad, for taking this movement of entrepreneurship forward. With these few words, I again welcome the speakers of the session and ask Professor Hazarika to take it forward.
Thank you, respected Director, sir. Thank you for your kind words and always keeping us encouraged to do new things at the center and at IIM Ranchi. As mentioned by Professor Mishra and our Honorable Director, sir, we are very happy to have you on board today at the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Center. And before we move ahead with your speeches and the rest of the program, I would just like to inform everyone who is present here about a few basic rules which we will follow during the entire event. The first basic rule that we follow is that all the persons except the speaker concerned keep their microphones kindly on mute. This helps us to have a smooth event so that there's no background noise, and it also reduces the bandwidth uses, which makes it much smoother. The second thing which we have is that all the speakers will get 15 minutes of time at first to explain about their ventures, about their journey till date, and also tell us more about what they plan to do in the future and how they overcame the challenges. After this time period is over, we will then have around 15 to 20 minutes of time to have a question answer round. The key issues which we'll discuss in the question answer round will venture around what has been discussed in the webinar. We also would then request all the participants of the webinar to kindly insert their questions in the chat box. We'll take the questions from the chat box because otherwise a lot of microphones get opened and there's a lot of disturbance. So we'll pick the questions from the chat box. In an extreme situation where there is a question which cannot be explained on the chat box, then we might allow someone to open the microphone, but that will only be on a case-to-case basis, but that's an extreme situation. After that, we will have a concluding speech by Professor Mishra, and then we will end the event for the day. But thank you again for being a part of this event, and we are very happy to see you today. And I now hand over the floor to Ms. Payal Agarwal, the founder of Chai Om and Tranquility, to take it forward and begin with her speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm just sharing my screen. So at the onset, I would like to thank the organizing committee of IIM Ranchi for having me on board. And thank you, Professor Singh and Professor Mishra and everybody here for the introduction. Yes. So there are a lot of word of cautions already given, but before I move ahead, I just want to say one word, that it's technology and technology can let us down anytime. So if by chance I go away, don't worry, I'll be back right here. So yes, today's topic is success stories and challenges. That is what we've been asked to talk to you all about. Thank you, each one of you who is here to make time to listen to us, because your time is the biggest asset and you are investing it here to listen to us today. And really happy to hear this, I share this stage with Japna and Disha. I wish we were there in the physical meeting, but happy to meet both of you. So now, when we are talking about women and the success and challenges, so my core belief for every woman is she is a lot. Yes, you're right. I feel I'm a lot, with a lot of layers, a lot of personality, a lot of dreams, a lot of ideas, strategies, emotions, a lot of love. Yes, you are right. I am lot. We need to believe that I am enough. Till I believe I am enough, I cannot make the world believe that I am enough. If you agree to this, please put a yes on the chat. Even if you are a man and who are listening to us, because it might be talking more on the woman aspect, but we want to hear it from you, how you feel about it. So we are talking about challenges, and challenges especially for the startups when it is run by women entrepreneurs. So I'm addressing here 4 basic challenges, which I'm sure my other speakers on this panel would also agree to when we hear to them further. So first is the fear of failure. I think before we step into anything, the first thing that stops us is the fear of failure. Second is the community support, whether we'll have the support from the entire community around. And as you see, as women, we have some bit of a society pressure also, because if we are working like a man outside and we neglect any responsibility in the home, we are judged. It's not taken, okay, a woman can also handle one responsibility. We are always expected to handle 2 responsibilities. And the biggest challenge, which I feel, is venture funding in female-founded startups. So as we see this data here, the global funding ventures from 2010 to 15. In 2010, it was yet 12%, but then the data now is only 10% where women-owned startups are funded. 3-4 days ago, I was on a woman webinar where I was hearing the head of HSBC speaking, and she, being a woman herself, she said that it is really ironical, but me being a woman on the chair, we also have to think 3 times when we are giving a fund to a woman. But here I would believe what Madam Indra Nooyi says, because I'm a big fan of her, and she says, the more we break the rules, the better off we are going to be. So let's be ready and break the rules. So are you all ready here? Another, because see, in the internet arena, I can only know if you're listening to me through your chat. So please put on some messages on the chat. And if you agree, put a yes here. Again, but now let's reframe every challenge. So there are challenges, but we are ready to reframe each one of them. So the fear of failure needs to be reframed by transforming the fear into action. We need to take the first step in faith, and the rest will all fall in place. So let's take action. We think the community support might be a challenge, but let me tell one thing. When women support each other, incredible things happen. And here I would also like to thank every man on this platform and every man in my life also, be it my father, be it my son, my husband, my friends, everybody, because I believe it's an ecosystem. And I'm not a feminist, and I never say that, okay, I will do it alone. No, we can never do without the support of men in our lives. So we need their support, and they're there to support us. See, today we are invited and introduced by 3 men before we started speaking. So what better opportunity we can see to thank all these people. So a round of applause and thanks to all the men around for supporting us. And yes, we need to juggle multiple roles, but then for that, I don't need to prove that I'm a man. I can still wear the, image of a woman and still juggle multiple roles. I can be an entrepreneur. I can take care of my child. I can do the cooking, everything. And I'm proud of that yes, I can multitask. Regarding the funding, I think we just heard a very good example of one of our speakers will be speaking ahead of me. So Japna, I just heard that she has been supported by funding, angel funding by the SBI, some scheme, and another one. So Japna, we would like to hear more from you on that. And even I would like to connect with you personally on that. But yes, there are a lot of Indian women startup funding. So we need to be ready for everything. Or there needs to be some action around me. Sorry for the noise. But now before I go ahead, let me take this opportunity, and with your permission, I would like to share a little bit of my own journey with you, because I did not come here without any challenges too. So I was born in a very small hill station, and yes, the second point that you read, undergraduate, it's very true. So whenever I'm actually called to address in any college or institute, I feel proud. Yesterday, I was talking to a batch of students in Amity. The kind of feeling that I get when I'm invited to these universities is very different, because I personally was not blessed to go to any college. So I say I had not seen doors to a college. So all your students here who are listening to me, you're blessed. Please be grateful to these opportunities and thank your parents for that. I got married even before I was 18. Most of you here are students who are into the graduation, and I'm sure Students here are not married, but I was married before I was 18. I had no professional degree, did not know what will be I be doing in my life. I was a mom at 19. There was no communication skills I had. Fear of public speaking. So today I'm sitting here, whether it's an online webinar or an offline webinar, I don't feel scared. I can go and address a crowd of 1,000 people. But there were days when if there were 10 people in the room, I would feel shy to talk to them. And the biggest challenge as today in the startup world is finance. There was no money to start the business. But did that stop me? No, it did not. I could not do my education then. At the age of 36, I went to IMB. At the age of 38, I was selected by ISB. So friends, I would like to say nothing can stop you if we take the action. And what is my journey now? So I'm a proud mom to a teenager. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been into an entrepreneurship journey for more than 2 decades now. Yes, before I'm 40, I have 2 decades of entrepreneurship experience. I've been an educationist. I've been a restaurateur running a chain of my own restaurants, sales professional, public speaker, and author. Yes, I have written my books and I have 2 more coming. But where does it all start? We all have some aha moment in our life. Maybe many of you listening to me today might have seen their own aha moments. Others might be yet to witness it. What was my aha moment? So these 2 women that you see on my screen, one is Madam Deepa Malik. So she is a lady whose feet doesn't work. Her body below her, I mean the lower part of her body doesn't work. But did that stop her? No. She is a Paralympic champion today. And the other lady, the graceful lady in her 96 years of age when I met her, she would walk to the Sunday church mass by herself. She said, I need to carry my own load. So these were the moments which made me believe that while you have everything, there's nothing that can stop you. So please wait for that aha moment or find that out and everything will change in your life. This changed my life, of course. So at the moment, I run 2 companies. One you've already been introduced to, the tea company, where my brand is Chayo. And another one is a yoga venture, which is not at the peak at the moment. But yes, it's already there and we'll be definitely taking it to the peak in the next 3 years. I'm writing 2 more books. One is on time management because I believe if you manage time, you manage your life. And another one is on cooking because food is something which I'm passionate about. And hence I'm doing that. I'm doing with a friend of mine. So, and I'm also going to be launching a training and coaching program for women entrepreneurs and also invest in the business and handhold to take them to the next level. Take them to the next level. Okay. And if there's any challenge, if you cannot see or something, you can just let me know. I think it's visible. Okay. And this is my journey today. This is the journey of an entrepreneur. So being a teapreneur, I have been with Chef Sanjeev Kapoor and I feel privileged to have served tea to Mr. Chris Iyer, who is the CEO of Walmart. But it's not about me. Is there a challenge? Somebody just messaged me, you're unable to see my presentation. Professor Misra, can you just tell me?
Only your first slide is visible.
You should
Are
have.
you going for slideshow or just first slides is there?
No. You should have told me. Anyways, I got a call from someone. Is it visible now?
No.
It's still not visible. There's some challenge there, but everything is visible here on my screen. I'm sorry for this interruption. As I said, technology sucks sometimes. Okay, here once again I go. 1 second. Okay.
We thought that you will be more passionate towards verbal presentation than.
No. I hope I'm not given a challenge here. Okay, you'll have to tell me if it's visible now.
Right. No, it's visible.
But okay. If I move around, you can still see if I'm changing the slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So no problem. I'll not repeat the whole thing, but I would just definitely like to move you ahead for a second. I will just take this. So the fear of failures and all that I was talking, I will not repeat them, but I'll just take the opportunity for you to grasp these images because you need to understand how it feels. And I'm sure the message is loud and clear what I wanted to say. Yes, going to my aha moments, I definitely want each one of you to see the woman who changed my life. So Professor Misra, you have to be my ears. I hope it's visible now.
Yes, it is visible now.
Yeah, so these are the ladies, women who changed my life. So Madam Malik, who cannot walk, and this is the lady at 96. So yes, this is my story now. So I'm launching a training program for women entrepreneurs, and I would love to invest in their business and handhold to the next level, because I know when I started my journey, it was really difficult. So if there is any budding entrepreneur in this group, please reach out to me. I'll be there and do whatever best I can to support each one of you. Yes, so this has been the journey of a teapreneur today. So I proudly run my tea business, and I feel privileged that I've served with Chef Sanjeev Kapoor, and I have served tea to Mr. Krish Iyer, the CEO of Walmart. So what better privilege in 3 years do you think you can get? Yes, an ordinary cup of chai has all these powers. But it's not about me. It's about you. Yes, it's about each one of you who is here today and who's made time to come and listen to me. So it's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. This is said by the famous poet Rumi. And this is one of my favorite quotes, because till I walk, nobody will walk for me. But once I start walking, each one will walk with me. So let us all start walking at least. And if you still need proof that we can do it or we cannot do it, I think these are women whom I've taken from different industries. Each one of them have inspired me in my journey wherever I am today. So Madam Indra Nooyi, I've already quoted her in the previous slides. So she's the woman who has always challenged stereotypes. She is a living example for each one of us. Marie Kom, she mother of 2, and look what great things she's doing in her life. Madam Sushma Swaraj, so you take politics, you take business, you take entrepreneurship. And Falguni Nair, I'm sure each one of you here, so all the young girls and women, whoever are here today, and the men, if you're not, I'm sure you're not using with your wives and your daughters and sisters. So Falguni Nair, the lady who runs the startup Nykaa. So see, we have women in every field. We don't need any endorsement, and we don't need to feel sympathetic of ourselves and gather sympathy votes. All we need to do is go ask the universe. As I said in the previous slide also, and once again, that if we are ready to help ourselves, everybody, be it the man around us or the men around us, everybody is there to help us. So if you wish to carve a niche in the world, get in touch with me. This is my social handles. I am PAYALH. Yes, you can easily find me. So Payal Agarwal, that's same my LinkedIn profile. And my website is chaiom.in if you want to go check out what I do into the tea universe. Thank you for listening to me, and I'm sorry for the technical glitch that happened. But as we say, technology sucks, but I hope my message is loud and clear to each one of you. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me.
Thank you, Ms. Agarwal. We would like to now move on to our next speaker, Ms. Disha Singh, who is the founder of Zook, a vegan brand of accessories, and she will speak to us more about her journey till date. Ms. Singh, you would need to unmute your microphone.
Professor, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. Thank you all the professors for the introduction as well as for this wonderful session, right? And I must say, Payal, wow, it's a wonderful story that you have, right? I think you have told the participant, you have given the participant today the bigger picture. I'll be more talking about the smaller, finer details of entrepreneurship and sharing more about my experience of starting up and bringing Zook to where it is today, right? So I am an engineer by degree, right? After my graduation, I worked with Reliance Power for a couple of years, and as most of the engineers in our country do, I prepared for CAT, and then I got into IIM Ahmedabad, right? First year was super hectic. I got into a lot of clubs. I was very focused on, getting my internship right. So did my internship with one of the investment bank, right? And post my first year doing a internship from a class 1 firm, I was like very relaxed, right? In the second year, I again participated in a lot of clubs. In fact, I stood for election for placement committee, won that, right? And, mostly relaxed, right? The second year I took chill, right? But one interesting thing I did at that time was I joined one of the session by one of our alumnus as well as professor in IIM Ahmedabad, Professor Sunil Handa, right? So he has a LEM session that happens in our campus, similar to something what is happening here, right? Where he shared, where different entrepreneurs from IMA come, they talk about their journey. He talks about his journey. He's a successful entrepreneur, right? And, that motivated me a bit to think about, entrepreneurship. Do I want to build something, right? And that instigated my interest towards entrepreneurship, right? At the same time, I went for one of the courses that IMA offers in the second year, which is called an ERI course, right? Wherein we go to a village near Kutch. It's a small village. So apart from doing our coursework, we also visit a lot of artisans there, right? And see their work and other things, right? And when we were there, right, we all of us saw those products and we were like, hey, yeah, this looks good. It is so, indie and all those things, right? But when it comes to buying, none of us bought any of it, right? And I asked my friends, and their first reaction was this, that, yeah, this is Indian, right? And it's handicrafted and all, but it doesn't suit my modern functionality. It doesn't have any usage for me, right? And that was the time I thought that, okay, why don't I, make something which is Indian, but yet for the modern Indian, right? And that, that got me started thinking that, if I can make products which are stylish, functional, but yet have an essence of India, right? So I started making my business plan. Also, started talking to a lot of people around me to understand that, if something like this, they will be interested in buying and all, right? Basically doing that research that we do, right? That was also the time when, in second year, IIM Ahmedabad offers a scholarship for entrepreneurs from IMA, right? Like every year, there are 12 people who are selected, whose ideas are selected, who basically leave their job and go for entrepreneurship, right? So I applied for that, got the scholarship, super happy. I was like, now I'll make something very, very big, right? So left, was thinking of leaving, opting out for placements that time, and, talk to my family about it, right? And my father told me one thing that, Disha, do you feel that you are ready for entrepreneurship right now, right? Wouldn't it be better that you take one of the placements from the campus? Like you need not go to any tier 1 company and all, right? Why don't you join a startup, right? Why don't you understand their journey? Why don't you see that, how do they build processes? How do they build teams, etc., etc.? It will give you more perspective and also the time to understand whether you really want to do this or not, right? And it got me thinking, and I thought, okay, why not, right? So from the campus, I took up a job in a healthcare startup called Practo. I was leading their supply side in the South Division, right? So I was with them for 8 months. I learned a lot of things there, like, good that I took that decision and, worked for a startup before starting something of my own. It has really, given me that perspective of, how from, you go from 1 to 10 employee, right? How do you build processes for them? How do you do hiring and all, right? But, having said all those things, in the back of my mind, I always had this, I have to do something of my own, right? I have an idea. I feel, I have that gut feel. For entrepreneurs, that gut feel will be like, is the thing, right? Like other two speakers will also, I'm assuming will also agree to this, right? And I was like, no, something like what I'm trying to build has a value in the market, right? So I did a little bit more research, narrowed down on the kind of products that I want to build, and then went back to my family and, with conviction and told them, okay, what, I have gained my experience. I am pretty sure of my product, what I'm trying to build and all that, right? I want to leave my job, right? And have like, telling them with this conviction, even they were ready, they were like, okay, fine. We also feel that, you are very passionate about it, and why don't you just go and, try it out, right? And I left my job, and I must say that till now, it was all very easy, right? The hard part starts now. So I had in my mind that, these are the kinds of products I want to build, right? But there was there was nobody to execute it, right? Because so the first products that we thought of building was our laptop bag, which is also, by the way, our flagship product, right? So I had in my mind, right, you know, I want to build like a fabric plus a vegan leather. It has to look like this and all that. You know, all our engineers make those models and everything, right? So everything was there on the paper, right? Now I have to convert into reality, and that was, you know, that was the hardest bit, right? So I moved from, so I was in Hyderabad while my stint in Practo. I shifted to Bombay, and I started looking for people who can, you know, make these bags for me, right? So I remember that, you know, our initial, I think a month or a half, right? Every morning I used to get up and, you know, I used to go to Dharavi by, I think, 10:30, be there by at least 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., you know, going across different karkhanas, telling those people that, you know, this is something I want to build on paper, showing them the fabric and the vegan leather, ki, you know, aisa banana hai, and all those. And those people used to, like, initially they used to look at me like with confusion, utter confusion. They're like, you know, you don't have any sample. I don't know who you are. You are so young. We don't even trust you whether you'll be able to give us a business or not. And, you know, they used to, you know, reject me left, right, etc. I think I've never had more rejections in my life than in Dharavi in those 1.5 months, right? You know, I kept on going. I think I have been to more than 50, 60 karkhanas there. And finally, we got our first person who was like, yeah, chalo, I'll do it for you, right? And that is how we got our first tailor, right, who built our first product. He is our first employee, and, you know, he's still with us, right? So that is one of the things that I've learned, that, you know, you have to value the people that you work with, and they will stick around with you, right? So yeah, so that is, so we built our first product. Trust me, it doesn't look like anything what we sell today, right? But yeah, that was our first baby. And, you know, our product was ready, right? Now I have to take it to the market, right? Because I have to show it to the customers and take the validation whether, you know, this is something that people will like, right? So with the help of a friend, you know, I got a small space as one of the upmarket exhibitions in Bombay, right? And, you know, we started producing, you know, making bags, sourcing material, this, that, you know, we have to do everything in a span of 15, 20 days, I remember, right? And on the day of the exhibition, first of all, we reached late, right? Our products reached late. I think half of the day was already gone for us, right? And when we reached the stall, we never thought that we have to decorate the stall for it to look, you know, classy, for the people to come and buy. And we were looking at the other stalls and we were wondering that, kya chal raha hai, right? But then we thought that, okay, you know, we have taken this plunge, let's go ahead and do it, right? And when our first product was sold, right, that, I think that was one of the happiest moments of my life. And I'll tell you that, you know, that is the biggest validation any entrepreneur can anytime get, right? You, like, you know, it is a better it's a better validation than, you know, getting a funding or getting featured somewhere or anything like that, right? If anybody is willing to pay for what you are making, that is the biggest validation, right? And we were super happy, you know, we worked extra hard, and by the end of the second day, we were completely sold out, right? And that gave us the courage to, you know, move ahead with this plan, right? Because this is something new that we were creating. At that time, there were nobody who was, you know, promoting vegan leather so heavily, trying to you know, use the kind of fabric that we are using on bags and all that. It was a novel concept, right? So in the span of next 1 year, we did a lot of exhibitions. Like, we did across India, we did more than 50+ exhibitions. I was personally present, I think, almost in all of the exhibitions, because it was, you know, because today we are online, right? We don't get to interact with our customers, right? But that platform, when I started doing exhibition, gave me that, you know, that face-to-face interaction, which now, given that we are completely online, is missing, right? And I think that has built a very strong foundation for Zook to, you know, understand their customer better, right? We used to ask them that what they like, what they don't like. And, you know, that was the time we also took up a small office in Bombay, hired a couple of NIFT grad, improved on our product, and did a lot of, you know, basic, like, product market fit, what is this called, right? We did a lot of such things, right? And at the end of the first year, we thought that, okay, fine, now we have a solid product, right? A product which people like. We have, you know, crowdsourced the whole idea of what the product should look like and all, and then we went online, right? And that day is there, and now this day is there. It's been a 2.5 years. that we are present online. We ship across India, right? We have grown from 0 sales to millions of sales, right? We are completely bootstrapped, right? In this whole journey, I have learned how to hire your initial set of employees, how to do marketing by scratch, how to stand, how to talk to your customer, how to understand their needs. I have also done the initial packaging of our, initial set of products that went out online, made handmade cards to them, talked to my customers extensively. So, doing all these things has really shaped me as a person, right? I am more mature in terms of where should I use my resources, how I should hire, right? What strategies should I employ in terms of where to grow Zook, right? Because we have so many options, right? So one of the advice that I would like to give all the budding entrepreneurs will be that try to be as much as hands-on as possible in your initial 2-3 years journey, right? It teaches a lot of things, and it also helps you hire the next person for doing that job, like for that delegation bit, right? So yeah, so my vision for Zook is to make it an iconic global brand from India. We will always stand for stylish and functional products with an essence of India. And I want, people to associate India with Zook, right? Like whenever they think of, some great brands from India, they should think of Zook first, right? So that's my vision, right? So before I conclude, my session, there are a lot of in a lot of webinars where I have spoken, speakers have asked me to give few advices that you will give to a budding entrepreneurs. So I will just lay it out before anybody asks me, right? There are 3 things that I have learned over a period of time, and I feel that are very, very important for the budding entrepreneurs. First will be, you should have a very, very strong support system, right? Be it your family, be it your friends, your professors, mentor, anybody. Have people who support your dream, who believe in you, right? There will be times when your sales target is not hitting. There will be times when you'll have a bad customer review. There will be times wherein your production has not gone right, and this will happen more than the success bits of it, right? And that is the time when you need people behind you who will say, no, you keep on going, right? Like this is just a small stumbling block and all those things, right? So it is extremely, extremely important that you have a very, very strong support system, right? Second would be that you should always ask for help, right? I personally believe that people are ready to help you, right? It's just that we don't ask, right? And when you are a first-time entrepreneur, when you are bootstrapped, you are limited for resources, time, money, everything as such, right? You should take as much help as you can get, right? I remember writing to somebody for at least, I wrote, I think, at least 12 to 13 emails before a person has replied back to me, right? And it has not taken much of my time, right? But that advice that the person has given me has really helped me, right? So it's extremely important. Ask help from wherever you get and from whoever you get, right? Keep your ego aside. Very, very important, right? We start feeling that, I am building a company, so main to bada hu, right? Ab ek baar puch liya, do baar puch liya, I will not ask, above this, right? No, that will, nothing will hamper your business more than this, right? Keep your ego aside. Ask as many questions as possible. Ask for help for anybody and everybody, your friends, families, everybody, right? Extremely important. That is one of the best gifts that you can give yourself as an entrepreneur, right? And third and the last will be that get a mentor, right? I don't know why in India we don't after you are out of the education system, we don't emphasize on having mentors for your professional lives and all that. But having mentors is very, very underrated. It is extremely important for a first-time entrepreneur to have mentors, right? I am very blessed. I have 2 mentors. I have Professor Sunil Handa and one of my alumnus, Vinita Singh. She's the founder of Sugar. They have, I talk to them from topics ranging from what should be my next target. Say, actually I've in fact discussed with them when should I get married, right? Or this is the time to get married or not, which, a lot of you female entrepreneurs will have the dilemma, right? So it's extremely, extremely important, right? Somebody who has walked that journey and taking advice from that person is more valuable than any course or anything you will do, right? They will give you real life examples. They will tell you that how it works in the real world, right? So yeah, so these were the 3 advices I generally give to everybody, and keep on following myself as well. My journey has not been so long, right? And I'm still improving, and yeah, that is it about it. And thank you so much everybody for patiently listening to me. I hope I have not been on this monologue for very long, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Singh, for your very inspirational words. I just wanted to say that your journey also shows a core part of our vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. He says, "Make in India, sell to the world." So that is what we are looking forward in the future. We are looking for more entrepreneurs who make in India and sell to the world. So for the other participants of the webinar, I'd like to ask you to keep your questions ready, because we have our 3rd speaker at the moment who will be speaking. She is Ms. Japna Rishi Kaushik, and she has founded a very tasty venture called Hungry Foal, something connected to food, which we all like. So she'll be speaking about her journey, but then we'll have a round of questions. So you can all keep your questions ready and typed in the chat box, and we'll immediately dive into the questions then. So Madam Kaushik, the floor is now all yours. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here, first of all. And then I'll like to say, what a power-packed speech by Payal and what insights by Disha. Bravo, what a journey, both of you. I've already met Payal actually at Timeshe Unlimited. Yeah, if you remember, so yeah. So first of all, I like to share my experiences as in what was the rationale behind setting up Hungry Foal. So when I was I am a food technologist by degree. I first studied BSc, then I did my master's in food technology from Punjab University. I did jobs like in Coca-Cola, Britannia, Nestle. In various capacities, I worked there in quality, pathogens, R&D. And then when I came to Britannia, finally, that was where I stuck with production. And I was like, wow. And I got that job. They said that you are coming here as in the role of a production officer. So I said, are you sure you want to get a female as a production officer? Because rarely you see girls going into the production field. But now I want to say that there is no field which women cannot endeavor into. Like I was very much like how I will do that. But again, like Disha and both Payal has said, stick to the people who support you. I got so many people there in Britannia, men only, who supported me a lot. I learned a great deal from them. So if there are few people who will like to bring you down, but there are many who will push you up. So stick to those people, first of all. So in Britannia, I learned many things about production. There I learned about the R&D also. I got hands-on to many fields in Britannia. So after that, I went into an R&D company. It was a Denmark-based company where I was working on cocktails and everything. Then, of course, I got married, I left. Then I started doing freelancing R&D for many people. Then after that, when I was going through some newspaper articles and I was looking into the hunger and the malnutrition or the nutrition status of India, what is it like today? So it's not very good. So gone are the days when we only strike hunger in our country. Now is the day that when we strike on the nutrition part of our coming generation, my kids, anybody's kids, anyone, if it's like a middle-aged person, older person, kids, anyone, they need nutrition. Nutrition comes with an expense. So that is where we wanted to bring the range of products which are nutritional, which are tasty, but yet they are pocket friendly. That is when we got the range of products made. The 8 products we made in the initial stage. Then we packed them into the tiffin boxes. We took them to the fields, to the kids, to the people, to the mothers, and got them tasted so that to get the feel that how people perceive to our products, right? Then yeah, out of those 8 products, only 4 were selected that we knew that yes, these are perceived well and we'll be going with the production with these 2 products. So these are the basic premises on which the Hungry Fold revolves, and this is the philosophy which we always follow, that we'll make products which are nutritional, which are tasty, but yet they are affordable. We want to reach as target only a small segment of people who can afford it, but we want to go to everyone in India and abroad. So that is the vision of the company, and we strictly follow this philosophy. So talking more about this, like already Disha has stated so many things about how her journey as an entrepreneur, as a women entrepreneur, how she struggled in Dharavi, how she got so many rejections. So same is with me, Disha. Like when you are in manufacturing domain, especially I'm in a manufacturing domain, you face rejection even from the employee working at the shop floor. So you have to be thick-skinned. You have to play deaf ears to them. Like, you don't know, you want to get it done. You want to get it done. Be like that. So yes, you face rejections, but then like I already said that pull up yourselves. You will be there one day, right? So in manufacturing domain, you face challenges from your vendors, your transporters, raw material vendors, your suppliers, anybody that doesn't want to like recognize a girl in the authority or lady in the authority, but that's okay. There are many people who will really support you, stick to them, right? And yes, so this was the main thing. I always followed this thing. If I want to get it done, I will get it done. If it is in the benefit of my company, I will do it. I will not listen to anyone. But yes, like already Disha said, I do have mentors. Mentor is an important thing in the life. So I just want to revolve around these 2 ladies because they have said a great deal about it already. So I want to enforce these things that people around here, they stick to these things. Mentor is an important thing. Get a mentor for yourself. I do have a mentor on the field for my production, for my R&D, anything. I ask for help also. So these are important things. You must like get into the habit of these things if you want to really endeavor this thing. Then now after all these struggles and everything, 4 years now we have passed, we have really passed all the hiccups now, I'll say the initial hurdles. Now from selling first lot, I remember we sold 200 units only 200 units. From there to selling 5 lakh units. It's a big achievement and it's a journey. And please, it's a journey, I'll say it not come easy, but it will come on if you are really eager to do that thing. And yeah, investment is another thing I'll say. We are also bootstrapped. We were bootstrapped because in the manufacturing industry, we always knew that we will not get the investments very easy. So manufacturing domain does get investments very late. So you have to get bootstrapped. So we are also bootstrapped. After that, we were lucky enough that there is a Startup India, Stand Up India, this thing program launched by Government of India for the MSMEs, where they give the loan to the women entrepreneurs specifically. So we were lucky to go through and get through it, and we research. So currently we run a factory at Manesar. So after that, from there, we are DIP recognized. So DIP recognized companies. So you please make a note of this thing. Whoever wants to do these things, they must research on the net for what all schemes government is launching, where you can get yourself recognized by Government of India. These things really help. So we are DIP recognized companies. So from there, because of that, we could apply in the PUNK, the GAIL Startup Initiative PUNK, because of those recognitions. So we applied there, we got selected there. So that was our pre-series A funding that we got from Maharatna of India, that was GAIL, right? And from there, after GAIL, we pulled up our sales, and many investors were attracted to our business. So there we raised our first round from the national and international investors. So it is very important to keep researching about what all is coming in the market, how you can get funding, what are the new schemes Government of India is launching. There are many incubators, many IITs and IIMs are also helping in that thing. So you must get into touch with those things. So that is what I want to say. So yeah, So when we got those funding, now we are we were very well before this COVID. COVID has hit us a little hard because the sales are not there. 2-3 months, we were not selling anything. So yeah, but now we are trying to come back in a big way. Like first we were in 1 city, then in 6 cities, but now after COVID, we are planning pan-India, and pan-India also abroad. So this is how the journey has been. It was a little tough, but I'll say many things I have told in between, only Disha has pointed out and Payal has already pointed out. In our success stories, I will like to say that testimonies which people, when they eat your product, they give you, they post the videos of celebrating their birthdays with your products only. You know, these are the testimonies that make you happy, that make you feel that yes, you achieved something, right? And then after that, I won this Women Entrepreneur for the food category in Time She Unlimited award. We were also invited to the President House to showcase our products there. So these are the achievements. You feel very happy, and there is a driving force inside you when you get all these things, see all these things happening around you. So the only one mantra I will like to say, Disha has already pointed out, keep working. If you have taken a dig, keep working towards it. Don't feel many points will come. As there are aha moments that you want to do this, there are many moments that will come when you will feel, oh, what I have done, I should continue this or not. But no, if you have taken a dig, don't leave it. There will be a point, there will be support for you. There will be someone who will really support you. But you have to keep looking for that. You have to be hands on it and keep looking, keep researching about the things. Don't sit idle. Like many a times we feel sluggish that we have achieved something. Okay, this is done, this is going on. We don't pursue it further, but please don't do that. As an entrepreneur, you don't have a privilege of sitting idle and not doing things and not researching about things. You have to keep doing that. That should be the driving force if you have to take dig in this thing, right? So the mantra is keep doing it. If you want to pull up an organization, pull up yourself first. That is the first thing. If you only pull up yourself, then only you can pull up an organization. So think about it first. Have a mentor, ask for help. As Disha said, so many pointers, Disha, you said, I really like them. No, seriously. So yeah, that's all I think I have to say about it, because both of them have really summed up it very well.
Thank you, Japna, for amazing story again. We would now like to move on to Honorable Director, sir, if he has a few words on the speeches by our participants till now and about their journeys. This time.
I would like to say the journey begins with determination. This is what sums up all the three stories. They had determination, they had will, they had a vision, and they did not get deterred by the roadblocks. They did not get drifted by the problems they experienced, the struggle, the journey that they had, they enjoyed, and they had self-belief. And yes, of course, those who want to travel their journey, the co-travelers and the supporters meet on the way. That's how the three stories can be summarized. And I congratulate each of them and wish them all the success in their endeavor in future.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it.
So now I open the floor to questions. Please get busy with your keyboards and you can type in your questions at the chat box. We already have a question for Ms. Disha Singh, which was asked by Pooja Yadav already at the chat box. And she asked, how do you find a mentor? Now, this I think is a very relevant question because we have been talking about mentors. So how do you find one?
Yeah, so for me, as I was saying, right, I got lucky, right? So my LEM prof is an entrepreneur, very successful entrepreneur, and he, happily agreed to be my mentor, right? But for the people, I would say that first you look around you, right? Like now you're a student of IIM Ranchi, right? So you should look around you. You should look your mentors first at the professors that you have, right? You see the like you talk to them, you try to understand how should I say? You should try to understand that whether what you are looking for is something that their skills and expertise is. So to basically answer your question in short is first you look around yourself, right, where you are. So you are in IIM Ranchi currently. You see the professors there. Then you can open your floor to other IIMs as well, right? Like you can see for A, B, C, anywhere else, right? See, as I was saying, right, if you ask for help, you will get help, right? So if there is any particular person that you are very inspired from and all, right, you should just write to them, right, and see whether they respond or not, and then eventually you will stumble upon somebody that who will be a mentor to you, right? So it is a lot of effort from your side. Like for example, Vinita and I are from the same IIM, right? But it took me a lot of effort to get even a first meeting with her, right? I think she's at least 10-12 years senior to me in terms of the batch that we are in, right? So I kept on writing to her, and finally one day she replied saying that yaar aajo Millo, right? Like you have been pushing me so much, right? So look for people like, so I looked for her because we had almost similar backgrounds, right? She's also from the IIMs. She is in the lifestyle space, like she owns a cosmetic company, right? So try and look for people who have done things that you want to do, right? And are, slightly reachable. Like, I cannot write to PM and say that, yeah, I'm making something made in India, please be my mentor, right? So in that term also, you have to be little, practical about it. But yeah, you have to first see what you are looking for, right? And then accordingly, look for people who have done it and ask for him.
Yeah, thank you, Disha. We now have a next question. It's from Megha Sharma, and we'd like to ask Payal and Japna, maybe the first Payal and then Japna, maybe to answer this. Who she asked that everyone mentions that we should have a mentor, but how should we choose a mentor? Is it the mentor who chooses the mentee, or the mentee chooses the mentor? So is it a chicken and egg story? So how do we find it?
Yeah, so Megha, smart question, and I would say it looks like you've read that book where it is said that you're blessed if your mentor chooses you. See, we all choose mentors, but very few people are blessed whose mentors choose you. And as I say, very few are blessed. And something I'd like to say before I go to your question, it's such a small world. So Disha was mentioning about Professor Handa. Disha, so as I said, I never went to college early in my life, but then Disha, I've been to Professor Handa's house, and I've lived there for 2 days. And in fact, we have spoken about soup, but today I'm happy to meet the lady who's behind the soup. And Japna, we have already met in She, and we'll connect all further. So coming to your question, Megha, see what happens, mentor. It's a very, very important word in life, but the problem is we think that a mentor can only be somebody who's like at the peak somewhere. Like it's not necessary that everybody needs to get a professor from an IIM university or somebody. A mentor could be anybody. It could be a friend of yours. So somebody is the first thing I believe in, only not a mentor, I believe in the 5 fingers of life. So you need 5 very important people in your life: a mentor, a coach, a peer, a friend, and somebody who will keep your back. Because in life, as she said, when we get comfortable, we need somebody to push. So the mentor relationship, I believe, can be anybody. Your friends, it could be now friends are there who are your age, but maybe their parents around have built a community which helps. And reaching out to people, I'm in the tea industry. When I was running my chain of restaurants, as she said, I reached out to Chef Sanjeev Kapoor. Today with this social media, it is so easy to reach out to anybody. And trust me, just ask for it, people will support you. So I reached out to him wherever I could. I found out who is the CEO of SK Culinary Institute. And then I did so many openings with Chef Sanjeev Kapoor. When I got into the tea industry, today I have somebody who's my mentor today who's sitting in Sri Lanka. So just reach out first, find out what you want mentorship for. That is what needs to be identified first. And then look for my mentor. This has become a style statement. Oh, I have a mentor. You need a mentor, very importantly, but first figure out what you need a mentor for. Where do you need direction in life? So Japna, what do you say? I mean, do you agree with me on this?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more in that, because see, I already mentioned in my speech also, I have mentor for my production thing. He's a different mentor. For my R&D, he's a different mentor. Yeah.
Agreed.
So yeah. So R&D, if I have a question in R&D, I go to a different person. If I have a question for my production, I go to a different person for HR related things. So you need to first ask a question to yourself, what kind of a, what field you want the mentorship for. Even for strategies, you can have the mentor. See, so you have to ask the question to yourself first, what the mentorship you want for.
Very exactly. That's what I have to say, because, you know, as I say, we need mentorship in every small thing. See, even fitness for that matter is a journey.
Yeah.
We need somebody
Yeah.
to even guide us. Now, a mentor is not somebody who will just sit on our head and, you know, tell us, but then we need to know the right question and then seek for the answers.
Yeah. True, Payal.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Japna, maybe we start with
True.
you now. We have
So hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a question now from Mr. Deepak Kumar. He asked how to retain the employees of the startup. Attrition rates is considerable in small size startups. So maybe we start with Japna.
Yeah, attrition rate is considerably high on the shop floor, particularly and on the foot soldiers, the sales team. So you have to be considerably in touch with them. A lot of touch you need, a personal touch you need with them. Keep talking to them. That is only the way I think I have found out to retain my people. My best working people are still with me. People like that, when I started my plant at Manesar, they're still working with me. That is the thing I think I have got. I get into them. I feel their nerves now. So talking to your people is a very important thing. Knowing what they want. If they want, see, as a startup, you cannot give such a hike or such salary to everyone. But yes, talking helps. Talk to them. You can tell them that what are the plans of the company, how you go about it, and if a company reaches from here to here, what are your plans for them. So that really keeps them motivating. So talk to your people, tell them what is the direction company is taking and how their journey will flow with that company. So that is the thing I think you should do.
So thank you, Japna. Now we have a question from Mr. Anupam Bandyopadhyay, and I'd like Disha to take this up. He asks, what are the mistakes that could have been avoided during the whole journey?
So I don't think so I will be here if I would have not made the mistakes that I have made along the way, right? I would not have learned it, right? And even if I tell you that, you know, ye thing mujhe nahi karna chahiye tha or something, right? That might not apply to you, or that might not apply to any other entrepreneur, right? It's a journey. You should take it as it is, right? You can, like, from our discussions, you can understand the things that the things that we feel are very valuable, like, for example, taking a mentor, you know, asking for help, and you know, surrounding ourselves with good people and all that, right? So try and take the learnings, right? What mistakes you will find on your entrepreneurship journey and all that will be very different from what I'll find, or what, you know, Payal will find for that matter, or Japna will find, right? So like, you know, looking for, like, me answering this question will not help you. I will tell you very frankly, right? It's more about that the learnings that we have given you from our four years, right? You have already, I think you are one step ahead of us, right? From that starting point, you already have got that, कि अच्छा यार, you know, ये चार चीजें तो करनी ही चाहिए, right? क्या नहीं करना है, that, you know, वो eventually आप नहीं वो, like, you can't say about it, right? So I don't know how to answer that one, but yeah, so you should not look at it that way. I don't know if any other speaker wants to add something to it. But yeah.
Okay, anyone like to add something, or we move on to our next question otherwise? Yeah. So I think this question is for Payal, and I would like you to answer this. So, sorry, sir.
I would like to add 4 things was to be done. So what to be avoided, whatever is added there, that should not be omitted. That should not be omitted.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, sir. That's what I should have said.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. So, Payal, I would like to move ahead with the next question, where we have this question by Asmita Srivastav. She asked how to work our way around when there is a competition in the market.
Oh, wow. So, you know what, Ashmita, ek cheez, I mean, I would like to see the statement in Hindi, like we have learned it from like my Dadaji and parents. We have heard everybody saying, bolte na mandi mein hi maal bikta hai. So, see, take the example of a vegetable market. When we go to a vegetable market, every second shop is selling the same vegetables. There's no difference. And maybe prices can be, we'll go and we'll bargain a little. See, nowadays, you youngsters, maybe you're not even going veggie shopping because everything has become so much on the app. But I'm sure, Japna, you have done it, and you know, sir, professors, you all or your families have done it. That's an experience. So, see the same stuff selling in every second shop. So much of competition. Even there's not a distance. If the shopkeeper in one shop is absent, the second person will get up, go to that person's shop and sell the product for him. So never get scared of competition, my dear. The more the competition, that means there's a demand of the product in the market. If there is a particular product, like Japna is into these healthy foods. So now when we see that the trend of healthy food is coming because people are getting more and more health conscious, that shows that the market is absolutely right. The more the competition, the more the opportunity in the market. Yes, and how you, same goes with what Disha is doing. See today laptop bag. Earlier, people would be like, okay, wo ek Samsung ka ya piche ka, you have one bag, in that you put in your laptop, you put your water bottle, tiffin, everything, just backpack carry. Today we want to change our laptop bags, like the mask has come, right? So we are changing mask plus the clothes, same people will change. But few things that we need to be careful is we need to have that extra USP, which we call it, the unique selling proposition. People take it's a very fancy term in the startup world, but you need to have that little edge over it. Don't try to copy somebody. Try to be a little differentiator. You don't have to be a copier. You have to be a little differentiator, and don't try to think, okay, I will not do till I get a Einstein idea. Don't wait for that. And never wait for that. And as my other speakers, they said, keep doing it. And every day, so when I started my let's say tea journey 3 years ago, it was different. Today I have 100 more ideas, and 3 years down the line, if we cross the roads again, I'll have more ideas. Same, I'm sure, ladies, it has happened with you. When you started on day one, you didn't have all these ideas. So the competition rather teaches you how to evolve. So always be happy, and the more the competition, the more the opportunity. That should be your mantra.
Yeah.
So we are coming back to you now, Japna, and yes, we'll take a few more questions. We are also running short of time, so we'll take 3 more questions. But we'll also keep the questions, and maybe we can answer them later or through our Facebook page or our LinkedIn page. We'll take them. So Japna, this question is relating to Jharkhand, which we would like to take. And they have asked, Khushbu Kumari has asked that since you are working as an entrepreneur in the nutrition sector, how do you see starvation deaths taking place in poor states like Jharkhand in particular, and any attempts made by your company in this regard?
So yeah, I like to mention that we were reached by WHO partner organization in Delhi. So for the clinical trials of pregnant and lactating women. So we have already developed drugs for them, and they have they are done with the trials. The report is still not out, but because it will take a little longer till the newborns come out and how it has affected their health. So the same thing on the same lines, we have just launched this project Garbh. We have launched project Garbh, in which the certain percentage of our sales, we will manufacture those products for the pregnant and lactating women. We will be giving them those products for the days 1000 days, so that it affects the maternal health, the lactating health of the mother, and which in turn will help the kids to survive after they take birth. Because out of 1,040 kids in India die before their first birthday. That is very saddening. So in that area, we cannot turn a blind eye to come up with this idea of Project Garbh, in which we are giving it for free with the some percentage of our sales. We are manufacturing them and giving to them, the pregnant women, for 1,000 days through our NGO partner, Edwell Society.
Thank you, Japna. Those are great ventures, I think. We'd now like to maybe put this question to Disha and also to Payal. This is by our Professor Mohapatra, he asked that to de-risk your business, should you work on multiple business ventures simultaneously? Is that a strategy to de-risk businesses?
Payal, do you want to go first?
Disha, please go ahead. Go ahead. After you. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay, fine. Professor, I am a very strong believer in focusing on one thing, right? So whether it's de-risking or not, I don't know. But if you're doing one thing, I feel that you should do that one thing properly, right? You should put your 100% and see whether it's working or not. And then move. Like if you have multiple ideas, then, choose the one that you have the most gut feel and also makes business sense for you, right? Go ahead and implement it, like put your 100%. And if it fails, it fails. And then you move ahead to the next venture, right? Like I personally would never run 2 or 3 businesses. Like, I think I don't have that bandwidth or that kind of a mindset to run multiple businesses, right? Because I feel, multitasking at the business level is not, maybe personally, I am not that good at, right? But I feel that focus brings a lot of value. It unlocks a lot of value, right? If you focus on one thing, give your 100%, you will come to know whether it works or not. And secondly, you will never have any regrets, like, मैं 4 business चला रहा था and maybe शायद मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया and it worked or didn't work, right? So yeah, to answer your question, de-risking or not, I would say that focus comes first. So whatever you do, I think you should do one thing at a time. Oh, fine, please.
Yeah. So, Disha, I mean, I love your take on it, but I slightly differ because I think it's situational. It depends on an individual to individual. Right. Sometimes this de-risking question also depends on your environmental situations that you are in, right? So it matters a lot. It might not be might not be the same for everybody. So in my case, what I would say is, I don't find it a big challenge to do business, but there has to be a protocol to it. See, when I say 2 business doesn't mean run 2 simultaneously, start on the same day, go for it at the same time. We need to take one step at a time. So supposing if I've started something, and once it is a little established, and when you have system and processes in that, I would not mind starting because I've been doing that. And another thing here I always say is, I believe in the Pomodoro technique, the tight bubble of total focus. So what I say is, when I am at particular thing, I will give it my complete tight bubble of total focus, and that is the moment I will not deviate. And yes, Disha, I mean, very truly said that give it to 100%, give it more than 100% rather. But yeah, so as I said, it is it is also dependent on your appetite, your risk-taking appetite, on your appetite in the family. It depends for different situations. So for me, it was like, so I've been a dad and a mom both to my son. So for me, any which ways was handling 2 responsibilities. So the responsibilities gave me more reasons to work more also. So I've been juggling 2 businesses, and touched wood by God's grace, because I have my time, everything. That's why I'm writing this book on time management, because it's all about time management. So I would say there's no right and there's no wrong in that. You have to evaluate it for yourself, because it depends on the individual that you are. It depends on your environmental situations, because no situations are same for everybody. So what Disha has gone through, what is Disha's situation or what is Japna's situation might be very different from mine, and same, I cannot understand what they are into. So I believe it's absolutely to each its own.
Thank you, both of you. We just will take the last question for the day. We'll have the rest of the questions, we'll put all up, we'll circulate them with the speakers, and then we'll put up the answers on Facebook. So please stay connected with our Facebook page. This question we will ask to Ma'am Japna, and this is being asked by Sakshi Bharuka. She asks, I think, a very relevant question, although we are pushing on time. I just wanted to take it because its relevance. She asks how to look for employees, because when we start, the budget is so less, we cannot attract high-tech employees. So how do we retain the employees? We cannot.
You have to be your own employee, darling. That is the only thing I can say. See, initially you have to wear so many hats. You have to work on shop floor. You have to develop your products on yourself. You have to look for the machinery yourself. Start with how I started. I did not get so much funding in the starting. I was bootstrapped myself. So these are the innovative ideas which come to you when you are in stress of making the machinery thing happen. from a chicky making machine to cutting the bars and all these things they have to come from yourself only. You have to be your own employee rather than employing so many people on day one. I will suggest take as many as responsibilities as you can, and both of them, Disha and Payal, have also like told in the speeches, be hands-on, and that will only give insights into your business, better insights to you, so that you can focus further how to recruit people for yourself.
Absolutely, Shapna. I would like to just add one statement to this. So as she said, yes, you have to be hands-on and do everything. And you know, the biggest gift of being an entrepreneur is you have to always be before your employees, before your team, to see that your team is doing what they want. And that's why I always say that you can have it all. You can have a team, you can have a system, you can have funding, you can have it all, but not all at a time. It will all come gradually. So give it time and build it over that. That's all I wanted to add to it.
Professor, if you have a minute, I would like to add a sentence. Will that be fine?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
To answer your question about hiring the initial set of employees, right? So there are two things that you should look at the person for, right? One is skill and the other is attitude, right? When you're low on money, you can't hire a very highly skilled person, right? But attitude does not come with a price, right? So when I started, whenever I look at a person, I look at these two parameters: what are the skill set they have and what is the attitude. So even though the skill is not so high, right? If that person has right attitude, you should hire them. And these people will, you know, come at the lower cost as well, right? Like the more skills you have, the higher the cost goes and all those things, right? So initial set of people, you can evaluate based on this and, you know, hire them accordingly. I hope it adds some value.
I agree. I agree, Disha. Attitude is the most important thing if you are really hiring someone.
And let them be aligned to the vision and the mission of our company. So I think if they are aligned to our mission and vision, because if we get people who are only joining us for money, which in the startups you not see, many people will not join us for money because we can't pay them very high in the beginning. If you have people who join you and if we can align them to the vision and the mission, we have assets with us.
Thank you all of you. Professor, Director Sir, would you like to have your final 2 words on the entire event? Like to request to unmute yourself, sir.
I will like to say to you and Aditya, Professor Aditya, that keep organizing such kind of webinars. These are inspiring. These will motivate our students and the community. Plus, this also gives the forum for entrepreneurs to reflect on their journey, so they also learn from those reflections. And of course, IIM Ranchi community also get a lot of learning from these experiences. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now like to request Professor Mishra to please present the concluding speech for the day.
Awesome. What a splendid session. And you know, I often say in class that there are 3 types of managers. Managers who make it happen, managers who let it happen, and managers who later wonder how it has happened. And you people are the managers who have made it happen. And I congratulate you people.
Thank you.
And so far,
Thank you.
but just like, you know, every good thing comes to an end, this session will also come to an end. But before that, I'm privileged to present vote of thanks. Honorable Director Sir, today's speakers, Ms. Disha Singh, Ms. Payal Mittal, Ms. Japna Rishi Kaustik, and all the participants. And I, on behalf of the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Center for Leadership, Policy and Governance and IIM Ranchi, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the honorable speakers and participants who blessed us with your presence and took out valuable time of your busy schedule. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for today's speakers, for their inspiring life stories. Individually, I have some points to make. Like for Payal, you said that, you know, 3 male professors have introduced you. But I would like to add one thing. we didn't only introduce you, we felt pride in that. And we are privileged to have you in our webinar, in our symposium. And we also belong to that culture where we say that, yat narjastu pujyante ramantra tattva devata. So continuing that, we respect you people for your achievements. To Disha, thank you for sharing your entrepreneurship, journey. And I think my students who are seeing you through this symposium must learn from you that life is not all the bed of roses, and you have to go to the ground and learn from there. And Miss Japna, you said that you are not selling anything in today's times, today's Corona Kal. I say Corona Kal. Right.
No, we have started. Sorry to interrupt you. We have already started, and we have started in a big way now.
Okay, but you are selling ideas. You are selling the inspiring stories, and we are the customers here who are learning from you that how you have achieved this particular place. I thank you all the participants. I also wish to express my gratitude to our director, sir, for providing encouragement and support. And sir, we will continue doing this. We have another symposium coming up in the same series, maybe at the end of this month or next month. I am very grateful to my colleague, Professor Hajarika, to coordinate the entire symposium, and Center Staff, Ms. Prachi, for conducting this symposium. Last but not least, I extend my thanks to our IT department for their support. Thank you, everyone, for making this webinar or symposium successful with your contribution. Thank you. Thank you, friends.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Lovely meeting all of you. Have a great evening.
Same here. Yeah, same here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.